Welcome to the Veggie Pod. We're demonstrating here the large Veggie Pod, but we come in three sizes. The medium pod is half this size. You'll actually notice that we've got 4 base trays joined together here. It's a modular system, so the medium is 2, 1 metre by 1 metre, and the large is this 2 by 1, and the small is a single, a ½ metre by 1 metre. Why do they call it a wicking bed? Because it wicks up just like a candle. From dry soil, as it dries out, it will naturally draw up the water from the reservoirs. The reservoirs are in the bottom of the fully contained base. This is the world's largest fully contained wicking bed that we know of. The overflow hole is also critical. There's one hole at the back here, a very directed flow point. Unlike many other self-watering pots, they'll eventually just spill out and leach soil and dirt everywhere. Not the Veggie Pod. We have one hole here that is well directed, and you can even flow that out through tubing if you wish to add it on. Why do we have the overflow hole? Again, a lot of these other pots and containers will hold the soil too much in the water, and it will come up, bog up and drown your roots and kill your plants. This allows the water to overflow if you get torrential rains coming through your canopy, or if somebody has left the hose on. So, the wicking wells sit inside the reservoir, like so, perfectly snug. We've designed the wells so that there are even holes right at the very bottom, not just the largest surface area where the slits are, but right down to the bottom, so as your water depletes, it will still suck from the bottom. Notice that you still have a full foot of growing depth. Again, a lot of these other self-watering pots and planters are only a small amount of growing medium, which means A, you don't get much soil in there, and B, you can't do your rooty veg. We have a full foot of soil, so all your rooty vegetables such as your turnips and your carrots and your parsnips and whatnot are able to be grown in the Veggie Pod. Right down to the nuts and bolts, you'll notice we have virgin polypropylene material. This is critical because it's certifiably food safe. We also have a strength to this. A lot of the other raised garden beds out there are flimsy, thin iron or pieces of plastic. We have added extra support gussets at every joint. This enables it to hold a lot of soil. Again, we're holding about 400 to 450 kilos of wet soil and water in this Veggie Pod, in the large one, so it needs to be strong. Now, if you look on the sides here, both at the front and the back, we have hinge clips. This makes it for extremely easy access with the cover. A lot of other stuff out there using to protect against pests are using exclusion netting with big holes, but also with awful designs where you have to clamber through. Not the Veggie Pod. We have it beautifully hinged, so you can just hinge it back and forth with ease, and it's allowed to hold ajar, making it very easy to work with the plants. Once you hinge it back down again, however, the hinge clips at the front, very easy, pop it in. Nothing can get through that. As you can see, there's only a very small gap through there. So some people have claimed that butterflies or whatnot might be able to get in. That's absolute rubbish. It will keep all those things out. So let's get on to the canopy. This is commercial grade crop cover. It is not low cost, poor quality stuff. It is extremely strong and extremely durable. If you can try and rip and tear that yourself, good luck. It's also critically very fine mesh. A lot of these big meshes will allow things in like your white butterfly and your slugs and your snails and your fruit flies, but it'll also keep out your big pests. For example, in Australia, it keeps out our possums, keeps out the birds, it keeps out your domestic animals such as your dogs and your cats, which will ruin your garden. In America, for example, you might have your squirrels and your deer and whatnot. So this will keep all of those out, big and small. Although it keeps the pests out, it lets the light in. This is the world's lowest shade rate we could find in a protection mesh. It's only 17%. Why? Obviously we're into edible vegetable gardens. They need as much light as possible. If, however, you're having a lot of scorches in a row, lots of hot heat, you may want to add a little bit of extra green cloth cover. We do have a summer cover that you can apply, but for the most part, we like to let most of the light in as possible. Some people have asked for aesthetic reasons, and some of your clients may well do say, I want the green or I want the brown because I think it looks better. Well, aesthetically that may be true. However, we're about vegetable growing and practicality. As soon as you get to the brown or the green shades, you're lifting your shade rates up to 50%, 70%, and therefore you're not having good vegetable growing for the most part. Okay, so we've talked about how they clip in and out. Once you open it up, obviously you have the string here that helps hold it ajar, so you don't have to lean it up against anything necessarily. It will then expose the mist sprays. The mist sprays have a standard hose connection at the back. So all you do is you plug your hose on the back. We have really good high quality metal ratchet clamps to keep the hoses on at all 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look inside, in the large veggie pod at least, we have 4 mist spray nozzles. These are also high volume, super fine mist sprays. We haven't gone for the dribblers, we've gone for the ones that get good surface area. Now obviously you're only using the mist sprays when you're not getting rain. Part of the crop canopy's advantage is that it is permeable, so not only is it allowing it to breathe, but it's allowing rain to come through. If you're getting rain, you beauty. But it also creates a microclimate inside. Yes, it's permeable, and obviously it's going to breathe and have some changes in temperature, but it's certainly a little bit different compared to your straight outside temperatures. So that microclimate creates a better growing environment for your plants. Also, the light is diffused evenly by the weave of the canopy, allowing better rates of photosynthesis. What I didn't mention before was the water in our veggie pods would last in an American and Australian summer up to 2 to 3 weeks without rain. Our steel in both the canopy and in the stands is galvanised. Not only galvanised, they're powder coated. So white for the canopy and black for the stands. So rust proof and sturdy. You do not need any tools. No tools whatsoever. So for example, the canopy, it's all like a tent pole. Pop, pop, pop. Zip tie your mist sprays to the roof. Roll your canopy over, Velcro. Likewise with the bases, no tools required. You're sliding all the walls down onto the base, you're popping the bolts through. Likewise with the stands, don't need any tools. Comes with its own Allen key. Sure, it's a little bit tedious, but it's not difficult at all. A bit like an IKEA job, go around, tighten all your nuts and bolts, done.